everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. No time to waste. Where are we, chat? Oh wait, what the heck? Why did we not go to the screen? There we go. Go into the full screen. Were we not on the full screen earlier? I'm a little confused. Anyways, mic check. Everything's working. Oh, I'm actually not on the full cam. You know, I don't want to go back and forward because the transition noises are pretty loud. So we'll leave it on this one, and then we'll just go directly to the stream. Forgot to transition over to the full cam before we go to the other screen. Anyways, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys had a nice day today. Markets were a little bit back and forth overall, and then FOMC really shook up the market, taking the market to the downside. That was fun, I guess, if you were a bear and if you were looking for the short trades today. But then all of a sudden, Microsoft and Meta came with their earnings report, saved the market from the great July 30th recession, which lasted a whole of 2 hours overall. 2 o'clock. It started around 2 o'clock and it's done by 4 o'clock. The great July 30th recession. So just amazing to see how that plays out on the market. 1 second you're down, the next second a complete reversal. Obviously, shout out to monster earnings reports from Meta, from Microsoft, and there's a couple other stocks sprinkled in there too that reported today after hours, which we're gonna take a look at all after we quickly drive through my trades on the day, which were summed up by 2 words today: shameful performance. So starting off the day, I actually started off the day pretty well. I was green on the day, was making money, and then I overtraded like crazy, added size in the most horrible spots when I was overtrading, and gave my day back. Then I tilted, made it way worse, and really dug myself into the red side today. And then later on with the FOMC sell-off, that managed to give me one trade that basically made back most of my losses, and ending the day with a lot less of a red side than I was originally during the lunch hour, during the middle hour of the day. So that's how my day went today, from green to full red. I think exactly what I was green at one point on the day, I was also equally red on that same price or same PNL. So basically a complete 100% flip on my PNL today on the day trade account, but thankfully making back some of that money on Nvidia. So let's talk about the winning trades and the losing trades. Maybe in chronological order. So starting with REPL, noticing that this stock has it's one of the small cap names, flushed off the open to the downside, but then really didn't really push off to the downside as you know, short sellers would have liked the stock to. Pushed back into the VWAP area. On this chart, it wasn't really above VWAP. The VWAP is the red line over here. But on TradingView, which is the main chart that I use to trade with, for example, let me pull it up. Right here, the stock was actually above its VWAP. So you know, it depends on the data that your chart is using, and sometimes dark pool data makes my VWAP a little bit higher or lower than other trading platforms. So looking at how it looks like on TradingView, the stock is above VWAP. In this case over here, it's slightly below VWAP, but still around it. I figured the fact that buyers are showing up into you know, closer to VWAP, I could possibly look for a long in this area with the stop at the bottom of this range. Look for that extension into higher day, and then a bigger squeeze, as they call it, EE candles. Looking for the EE candles for what's his name, Eternal Envy, to get stopped out of his shorts, where he loses $1 million, and then I'm able to capitalize on him losing millions of dollars because he's short, and ride the stock to the upside. Simple trading mechanics over there. But you know, today he actually made all of his millions that he lost recently, and he's back to all-time high. So shout out to him. But you know, I was basically trying to capitalize on his downfall. I'll be honest, that's exactly what I was trying to do. Trying to look to capitalize on his downfall over here by basically looking for short sellers to get squoze out. Now, I don't know if he was shorting REPL or not. I'm just speculating in case he was shorting REPL or in case he was shorting SUPX. Both of which I traded today. So in this area, how I traded, I'm not really too upset about this one. I think I did this part fairly well, but what I did have an issue with is in this area. After I take some profits, I quickly try to get back into the trade on the break a higher day, looking for that big explosive move up north, but that didn't really play out the way I wanted it to. Jump out and then jump back in, and then jump out and then jump back in. So lots of back and forth in this action, giving back some of the money that I made from this, and really putting myself in an awkward position to go through the rest of the day with other names and even this name. However, completely trying to ignore what I did over here and look for a proper reason to get back in the trade. Draw a trend line over here from the highs on the stock. Once the trend line breaks, you have some sort of a cup and handle. Here's your cup, here's the handle. Taking the break of the handle to see if there was another short squeeze momentum upside, and you kind of do get that short squeeze momentum, and then another little trend line break over here sets up for another squeeze to the upside, but eventually stock just doesn't have that explosive move that I was looking for to the north side. A crazy multi 3-digit percentile move to the upside. Just struggled around $8, but still managed to stay above VWAP at the end of the day. So had you just kept buying VWAP looking for the pop, I guess you would have still managed to come out on top on this name, and long was the right direction. So REPL, starting off the day, this was a good trade for me. I think after that, I started messing with SMCI. SMCI, monster move off the open. I was watching SMCI, I was watching HIMS, HIMS, both of them go absolutely crazy today, and basically move into previous resistance areas, previous daily level chart level prices, and reject off of that area a little bit, pull back, and then show me that it's finding buyers above VWAP. So looking for that VWAP continuation long, but you can see how I really ruined this trade for myself by adding to the stock on the way up. I'm basically constantly adding as the EV is actually getting worse. My stop is what, $61, and I'm adding all the way up from 61.40 to 62 after the stock just made an insane multi ATR move from $59 to $62.50. It's an insanity, right? Big move over here. Oftentimes you don't really have a pullback and then another big $2, $3, $4, $5 move to the upside. It just doesn't happen like that. So no reason to enter into trades like this. Wait for the proper dip and hold into VWAP. See if buyers are actually setting up. You can even draw a trend line similar to how I did on REPL, and wait for the trend line break to happen. And you can see how that trend line doesn't really break until what, here? At which point, had you taken the long over here, or even looked for longs on the dip instead of look what I do over here, right? Adding on the breakouts, getting uncomfortable when the stock pushes back, doesn't even actually push all the way into where the buyer actually might be. You can see how it never broke this low until FOMC. So this is where the stop should have been. Never would have again stopped out. Still would have been managed to hold the stock to see if I can make some money. And then once after it makes this push and gets stuffed back down, I could have closed the trade for break even instead of losing more money on this trade. So just stupidity all across the board. Not really thinking right. Honestly, I didn't have enough sleep. I slept at like 1:30. I woke up at 6:30 and I just didn't have enough sleep, wasn't thinking right at all. And Lance talks about this in depth, where this is a performance sport. You need sleep to be able to perform at the highest capable levels of yourself. So I'm not using that as an excuse, but not having that clearly messed with the way I traded today. And need to be better. Today there was way too much breakout momentum entries, whereas like almost no stock that I was trading today, other than REPL for a little bit, other than maybe SUPX for a little bit, warranted such momentum action. Talking about SUPX, let's talk about this stock. The stock, another small cap name, going crazy, reclaiming pre-market levels and basically pushing into pre-market highs, squeezing to the north side, pulling back, and then still holding pre-market high area. So figuring that, hey, if we're going to hold the halt price and the pre-market high price, possibly buyers are coming in around 25. I can slip a bit in close to 25, risking a break below 25 as my stop loss. Never really had to worry about this trade. Getting a quick pop into 27, making that $2 per share profit, and then watching to see if there was a bigger squeeze up. But yeah, it doesn't really play out that way. I get stopped out on the way back down, and you can see how potentially there was a short somewhere down here, maybe on the break down below 25. Had you paid for shorts? I didn't really pay for shorts. Again, looking for the EE squeeze, looking for eternal envy to get squoze out as he's trying to short these names, but looks like he was on top of these names today, potentially making some money on SUPX for himself. Monster trade if he was able to short this somewhere in this area. But I was all honesty, again, looking for him to lose money on this short. Not that I know if he was actually trading that or not. After that, I went to HIMS a little bit. So HIMS actually, monster move like SMCI, crazy move right off the open, going into the daily levels of $66 area, rejects a little bit from that, pushes back into VWAP, and then just rocket ships right back into high a day. This is very rare. SMCI, I guess I was expecting SMCI to do something similar after watching HIMS do this. So I went absolutely crazy on SMCI looking for this type of action. Honestly, I was trying to get long HIMS here, but I missed out on it. And because of that, I forced SMCI a little bit. However, later on, HIMS creates a very tight coil just above the previous intraday high, and looks like it was going to have the perfect breakout opportunity into $66. So I just had to take that long, give it a very tight risk. I did it. You got a 50 cent per share move, but every time the stock would try to get above $66, it just did not have any sustaining power above 66. So use that to take profits on every single pop and fail. And finally, the last pop and fail, I was like, you know what? There's no reason to hold any shares. The stock is struggling around 66. Let me stay away from it. After on, taking that similar setup like AMD yesterday, the fashionably late scalp, a big move off the open. If buyers are trapped, they're going to look for their exit, and then once natural selling comes in, you're going to see the stock really unwind, potentially even go back to $61, $62. So looking for that full reversal. I get short on the move back below VWAP. When 9 EMA crosses, I add to my trade, but no follow through. And right around this time also, market kind of reverses back up. So not having to really even stick to my stop on this trade, I just quickly punch out on this one. Maybe should have even flipped long, because I did say in my Discord pod that there's two scenarios. Either the stock gives you a VWAP continuation from here, or it gives you a fashionably late scalp, which it didn't give you. So I should have just maybe flipped long, risk this low for that VWAP continuation. As you can see later on, I tried to do that over here, but I ruin it again with more breakout entries. 2 entries which are, you know, on the dips. And then I go very aggressive every time. Breakout entry, breakout entry, breakout entry. And each time I basically chicken out, as the stock doesn't really have immediate follow through for me. Never really is in the wrong, right? It's still bullish. The chart is still very bullish. Never really in the wrong for the idea. But I don't get to play out the idea because of the way I'm trading this in this area. So need to be trading much better than doing this type of dumb shit. Another loss on basically a break-even trade on HIMS, so not really a loss. FOMC, AMD coils around the $180 area, taking the 180 breakout, no follow through, immediately punching out of that one. META 700 breaks down, looking for extension below 700. Didn't work out, got stopped out. I thought this was the Dan Shapiro's second breakout entry. Wait for the first breakout. Don't take the first breakout, but take the breakout after that. So I take the second breakout, but no follow through. After I lose basically 2 trades on this, and see how the stock trades near VWAP for the rest of the day, I figure there is no trade on this for a bigger move to the downside. But I guess with FOMC, that bigger move to the downside actually played out if you were looking for it somewhere in this area. Yeah, I just gave up on the VWAP continuation after getting beat up twice on this name today. MO, big disappointment on MO. Originally, Monster moved to the long side if you were looking for it on that daily level, or that complete reversal back. Here, you had that VWAP continuation trade, which honestly played out picture perfect, but I just kind of psyched myself out of it and jumped out for break even. Basically a little emotional and upset at myself for not really trading well on names where I should have absolutely killed it. Like REPL, all of my size on the day should have been in this area, and then some trade here, and then some trades here. Everything else should have been completely ignored. I should have maybe had, no, I think I did fine on this trade. And my best trade on the day potentially could have taken a little bit more risk over here. NVIDIA, FOMC sell-off, taking that breakdown below 180. Stock struggling to get above 180, which is basically all-time high, with FOMC move coming into play, with how the market's selling off, figuring that you know, NVIDIA shouldn't really get above 180. So getting short in this area, risking that 180 high, and getting that beautiful mean reversion right back into VWAP, and actually a little bit more than VWAP, which saves my day. Makes me back a lot of the money that I had lost today. So thankfully saved my day by quite a bit, and as a trade that my manager called out during the FOMC. If he had he not called this trade out, I potentially would have not had it. So shout out to him for that one. Give flowers to the people who it's due. I was kind of really, tilted and emotional to the point where I said, fuck this, I don't want to trade anymore, and just sat there and watched the market move. SQQQ, after making that money on Nvidia, I was watching QQQ move around, focused on how QQQ was trading around yesterday's closing price, and you can see right around this area QQQ bounces off of yesterday's closing price. So I tried to look for the second leg on the short side, but no follow through. Immediately jump out for a break-even trade, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, my trades on the day. Sorry for the shameful performance. Hopefully I do much better of a job. Where are my flip-flops? And the hell? What the helly? I don't know where my flops are. Where is it? Hopefully better performance tomorrow, especially with all that's on board. Boy, oh boy, do we have a hot watch list for us to talk about. So let's quickly pull up the watch list over here, starting with IPO. Tomorrow we have probably the most exciting IPO on the IPO calendar for this year so far, at the very least. There should be more names than one. Where's the other one? That's the one. SI, Shoulder Innovations, SI, decent size. We don't care about Acquisition Corp. We don't care about Acquisition Corp. And obviously Figma, which is coming in at $1.359 billion offer amount. So let me also put SI in the watch list real quick so we don't forget about that. Sweet. Okay, SI, there you go. Wow, I just remember, wasn't SI the same ticker for Silvergate Investments that went bankrupt? Right? I'm pretty sure it was. Anyways, let's see if we can open it these days. Wait, you can, SI is now Shoulder Innovations. They're already public? Wait, what? Oh, they were public, and then they went not public or delisted, and now they're going back public. And this was the chart before it traded? Or was this the chart of Silvergate Investments? I wonder what is what. I think this is the chart for Silvergate, but they just changed the name already because the IPO is coming. Anyways, I see TH talking about Starbucks. Starbucks morning plunge was erased by close, yet the stock is still weak. Yay, good. Fuck Starbucks. Okay, starting with the watch list today. I don't have Starbucks on my watch list, nor do I think I'm going to add it to my watch list. That's going to be an absolute waste of my time tomorrow, because tomorrow we have some of the most hypest names reporting or already reported for us to cover. So let's not waste time. Let's head over to the earnings board, starting with Microsoft and Meta. Let me show you guys all other stocks that are reporting really quick while we're at it. Meta, Microsoft, Robinhood, Applied Blockchain, Carvana, Lam Research, Qualcomm, Ford, ARM. Those are all the stocks that we care about reporting today after hours. If you're into the gold trade, currently gold looked like it wants to break out again. Kinross Gold, Barrick Gold, whose ticker was GOLD, is now apparently B. That was a shock to me today. Thank you to Yando who told me about that in the Discord chat. Kinross Gold in the same basket if you're interested to look for that gold trade. Tomorrow at pre-market, CVS Health, Roblox, AbbVie, NCLH, MasterCard, and Bristol Myers. Bristol Myers chart actually looks a little interesting, so I did add them to my watch list, and we'll see how they set up tomorrow pre-market for a possible trade. Corey's in the house. What's up, Corey? How you doing? Josh TH, Dieter, and John Monsewer is also here. So as I said, Microsoft and Meta. Quickly loading up our good friend Benzinga. Shout out to Benzinga for sponsoring our earnings segment. We could possibly even just use the comment browser to do our work for us on that side. You know what? Why don't we just do that? Because we have the power of earnings tools in our fingertips now. Sure. What's it? Power of Can I just do this here? ER stream, Meta, Microsoft, Hood. What else is on my watch list, chat? Where's my watch list? Meta, Microsoft, Hood, APLD, CVNA, LRCX. Do we actually care about LRCX? How did they move? Alright, maybe we should care about them a little bit. LRCX, Qualcomm. For sure don't care about Ford as much. And then ARM. Boom, we hit enter. Let that bad boy do its work for us. In the meantime, we will quickly talk about... oh, we also need another research going on for... what is it? We need it for the IPO scan. So we'll just go here, scan this tab for all relevant information on the company Figma and its IPO tomorrow. Alright, and then we come back to this one in the meantime, and then now we get to, all the charts for today, a year ago. You get a nice little, come on, man, Perplexity, you're just making my job 10 times easier, and we love you for that. Look at that, ARM, Qualcomm, ALAB, what the hell is ETR? Hood, Microsoft, Carvana, and then now we can quickly read about this. Q2 revenue up 22%, EPS up 38%, daily active users up 6%. This is all for META, by the way. Not specified directly, but 12 straight quarter revenue beats. Guidance Q3 revenue projected 49 billion. Capital expenditures for 2045 raised to 65 to 72. Expecting a slower growth in Q4 due to tougher compares. I'm guessing that means that tougher competition, but that's not a good thing to hear. Slower growth, but still growth, I guess, at the end of the day. Good numbers over here, and daily active still growing across their whole basket of products that they have. WhatsApp, Instagram, what else do they have? WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. How can I forget Facebook? That's the main first company that existed in this basket. Coming to Microsoft revenue increased by 18% year over year, 9.6% quarter over quarter, EPS by 24% year over year. Full year revenue 15% up, Intelligent Cloud up 26%, Azure up 39%, Productivity up 16%, Personal Computing up 9%, Guidance expects double-digit growth in full year 2026, and still looking for growth across board on everything on Microsoft. Robinhood up 45% year over year, EPS profit more than double year over year. All things are looking good over here too so far, and Vlad recently got announced as, or he recently got put up on the poster for Forbes, so that's something to keep an eye on. APLD, another banger earnings report, however down 13% quarter over quarter on APLD. Full year revenue up 6% year over year. Okay, guidance expects sequential revenue growth in 2025, targeting 1 billion annual net operating income in 3 to 5 years. Analysts expect 24% revenue growth for the next 12 months. That's for APLD. Carvana apparently makes a new all-time high. What an insane stock. Recently was $4. Now it's at 300, 400 again. Absolutely nuts. So Carvana, in good earnings report, up for 42% year over year on revenue, 10% quarter over quarter. All numbers are, I mean, what? EPS is up 814%. Yo, expected 14 cents and they reported $1.28. What are we talking about? Retail units sold 41% over year. Like, Carvana is just printing cars and printing money. God damn. Yeah, either they're cooking the books or they're actually printing money. I don't know what's going on anymore. Lam Research also up on their report, looking very good. Qualcomm up, looking good over here too. Automotive revenue, IoT, phone chip revenue. Okay, all things looking good. Hey man, you can just show me the table to begin with. You don't have to make me read all of that. You could have just done this. Let me just take a look at this. So ARM, we got 12% year over year, quarter over quarter 15, and modest guidance. Oh god damn it, no, I don't want to do that. Above consensus. Looks like all reports in our basket of stocks that we want to go through today are perfect. Looks like they're all reported very good, very well. For the most part, modest guidance, and quarter over quarter, couple stocks are flat to negative. But for the most part, year over year, growth revenue is positive for all names. So that is a good thing to see at a quick glance. Obviously, if you want to dive deeper into every single earnings report, you can do so using our good friends over at Benzinga. Looks like Benzinga user interface changed a little bit. At least the rows over here look a lot cleaner. Anyways, going over to Benzinga to type in, let's say, Microsoft, right? If you type in Microsoft, you can see the red highlighted ones are the important articles. You can see how quickly it summarizes the information for you by clicking on those. Get your news, get your info. I need to start listening to Benzinga Squawk during the day again. I kind of stopped doing that. You know, that's a bad habit. So I got to start doing that. Started listening to music and talking on Discord instead of listening to Benzinga Squawk. Bad mistake. Okay, so let's start with the top of the basket with the earnings. Now that we know almost every stock reported well, we already know Microsoft and Meta blasted off today after hours. So really, your guess is as good as mine. I wouldn't be surprised as everyone and their grandma would be trying to scrounge for a long over here on both of these names. They're trying to play catch up across the board on other large cap stocks like Apple, Amazon, Google, and so on. Even Amazon blasted off. Oh my god, Amazon's at 237. Boys, I'm rich. I'm retiring. I gotta check my account really quick here. If Amazon's at 237, what a wonderful time to be alive. And where's Rubrik at in the after hours here? Because I added to, I started a position on Rubrik, but it's a little bit gone now. A little bit gone now for me to add to my position, which sucks. We'll be looking for dips to buy Rubrik, obviously, but nice little breakout of this trend line. Should have just taken all my size on this name. Oh my god, we're making so much money, chat. I love to see it. Amazon killing it for my portfolio right now. It is my biggest holding. It was my second biggest holding. Shout out to SMCI. But now it's my biggest holding. Where's Coupang? CPNG getting destroyed again. It's back under 30. Once it's closing under 29, I'm basically done with that trade, because that one's not looking good. Where's Robinhood? Wait, we're going to go to Robinhood in a second anyways. No move on Robinhood after it reported earnings the way we saw, or at least the report that we saw. That's kind of sad. I'm just happy that Amazon blasted off, and I need to figure out how to buy more shares of Rubrik. We'll talk about this in a second when we get back to that part. Microsoft, as I was saying, your guess is as good as mine. You know, looking to see if the pre-market after hour levels come into play for some support. Obviously using earnings anchored VWAP, which I don't see at the moment. Where is it? Hello? Don't see the earnings anchor VWAP. Usually that should give me the auto anchor VWAP, but if we were to throw one in there, you can see it coming right around 550, 540, 850. So expecting that price point area to hold 540, 850 / 550 in the pre-market. If we start holding below that, maybe, you know, you could draw your line in the sand at 545. If 545 doesn't hold tomorrow in the pre-market, then maybe a little bit of a backslide is possible over here. But I don't think we should see below 545 based on the report that Microsoft and Meta both just reported. These stocks just basically ended recession in one day. Let's not even say one day. Ended recession in 2 hours with their earnings report. Monster moves. Here is the earnings anchored VWAP on Meta that's auto plotted. Not sure why it wasn't on Microsoft. And honestly, I like the chart a lot better on Meta than Microsoft. Sadly, Microsoft has better liquidity than Meta. I guess it makes sense. One of them is a $500 stock, the other is a $700 stock. One does more volume than the other. End of the day, they're both shut liquidities no matter what. Line in the sand for Meta comes at a 750 for the support for me, and the key level that I want to see holding would be around 755 to 750. 795 it says earnings VWAP. We'll just kind of round it up to 758. So 755 to 758. I want to see if support can come in on Meta and the pre-market, and then possibilities for us to get long. If we're not holding 750 tomorrow, then I think that's gonna open up downside very quickly on META. So watch out for that. Robinhood, honestly, a nothing burger move over here, which is very sad. But I guess it is a positive thing that you know, it didn't really get slammed back to the downside. If Robinhood starts to hold above 107.50 tomorrow, I think there is a no-brainer long, and could even be a little hidden sneaky long tomorrow, given that you know, a lot of people might be focused on Microsoft, Meta, Carvana, these more high flyer names in general. So Hood could be just one of those sneaky hidden longs. You could say that the earnings is priced in, given how wild of a move the stock has had recently, but we don't know all that information. So tomorrow 107.50, if we're above it, I think looking for a long on that is not a bad idea at all. APLD reported today, and the move is positive. A good direction move for the stock based on the report. It's above its 200-day moving average. It's an $11 stock. I honestly didn't know APLD was that low of a price. I thought it was much higher of a price. Anyways, APLD, $11 name, does a little bit of lower volume than I wanted to, but doesn't deter me. $11.80, $12 is currently the pre-market high. What does that come into? Right around this area. So 12, I think, might act as a little bit of a resistance tomorrow on APLD. If we do manage to get above 12 to 12.30 zone and then hold above it in the pre-market or something along those lines, then maybe there is more upside. But I think 12 area might just act as a resistance on this name tomorrow. Let's go to Carvana, the more important name, the high flyer that everyone's talking about already on Twitter. What a story. From $4, maybe not 4, yes, $4, $3.55 was the low. From $4 to, where did we go today after hours? Almost 400. Oh my god, insane. I have no words. There's a loss for words. 375 is going to be the line in the sand to the downside. I don't want to see the stock below it if I'm looking for a bullish long. You know, these are the names that you want to see those setups come into play, like the money trade. The stock pulls into pre-market lows, gives you a dip buy, goes into pre-market highs, breaks out of pre-market highs, and just goes up all day for the rest of the day. So you know, you might want to be into the work a little bit early. I'm talking to myself on this. You might want to wake up earlier, be into work a little bit earlier, and all that other fun jazz and so on. So 380 is the earnings VWAP, but I'm also just gonna put 400 as a key level to watch. 380 I guess is the first one, and then 400 is the next one. I'll put it like that. Okay, and then we'll see how pre-market comes into play on Carvana. LRCX, a little bit of a sell-off move, but I want to see if the stock is below this area here. It is. That makes it interesting. So the fact that we're below the most recent support area, as long as the stock stays below it, I think you're basically playing the under over on LRCX. I'm gonna give this an orange priority instead, but these orange priority stocks could just be one of those hidden low-key trades where you don't have to risk too much. You can actually take a lot of size on these names given if they have volume and liquidity, compared to these purple names which don't really have as good a full liquidity. And just because they're moving crazy, people will be trying to, they'll be playing it pretty aggressive. You might have to end up punching it higher than you thought. It's just not the easiest names for noobs to trade. And if you're a noob, recognize you are a noob. Nothing wrong with just watching these names, but and not trading it. There's better trades out there to match your trading style, match your play style. So giving you guys ideas for both sides. Qualcomm, hopefully you broke out to the upside. Not that I have it in my personal, but oh man, Qualcomm doing the opposite over here. Their report wasn't as bad, right? But Qualcomm doing the complete opposite to the market. So I'm actually going to keep an eye on Qualcomm in case, below that low too, in case it actually if the market sells off. Market has an insane reversal in the after hours thanks to Microsoft and Meta. But if the market has, let's say, a sell-off day tomorrow, doesn't mean that it has to close red. But if the market sells off, then I want to look for stocks that were bearish, that were weak going into the day already, which was Qualcomm thanks to its earnings report. We thought that the report was bullish, but hey, we're not analysts, or at least I'm not an analyst. I'm just a trader, and I have to react to how the stock is trading based on previous information. And based off of that, the stock not able to stay above 150, 151 tomorrow might just open up a lot of downside on this one too. So watch out. For me, 150 is that key level. If we're not above 150, it's all shorts to the downside on Qualcomm. Ford, I don't really think I care about Ford, do I? Yeah, I don't think I care about Ford tomorrow. ARM. Oh, baby. Semiconductor stocks getting destroyed for some reason when AI is the name of the game right now. What's going on? The two biggest AI contributing stocks are getting pushed up on their earnings report, and all of these stocks are not doing what people are expecting it to. I mean, ARM breaking out of this would have been a great long to snag for the current market theme and so on. But no, you're not going to get that. Instead, maybe what you're going to get is a dip buy opportunity if you are looking for that. I guess ARM honestly might not actually make it to my watch list tomorrow as a high priority name. If I am interested in shorting a small cap, sorry, not small cap, a semiconductor name tomorrow, it might just be Qualcomm. Based on the most recent action, ARM is actually pushing right into 200-day moving average, and I think on a pop would make it a better short. So on a pop into 150 or something, if ARM is struggling to get above 150, then I think there could be something to watch over there. But I'm not really too keen on looking for a trade on ARM just because of the after hour move here. Not that it's insignificant. That after hour move is actually pretty significant. You got a $10 drop there, and 150 is actually one of the more key levels. Earnings after hours VWAP is 151. So 150 to 151 is your key area. CVS, these are stocks that report tomorrow pre-market. So let's just go to the daily chart, see if there's any quick glance levels for us to map out. I think this is something over here, given how most of the health tech stocks have been kind of getting blown out other than HIMS. If CVS reports ugly tomorrow, you're looking for a move below 58, and then you're shorting all pops as long as those pops are getting sold below 58. So 58 is your key level. Short all pops if stock is not able to reclaim 58. Short all pops if stock is not able to reclaim 150/151. 150. LRCX. Short all pops if stock is not able to reclaim 96. Look for dip buys as long as stock is above key levels. Look for dip buy, look for dip buy, look for dip buy. APLD, I think 12 should act as a resistance, but if stock can build above it, could see more upside. And nice little notes for all the stocks that might be a little bit of importance for tomorrow. CVS, as I mentioned, stock reporting tomorrow pre-market. Nice little level here. I don't think I really care too much to trade if the stock does manage to push back into these levels for a long side, though I think I'll keep an eye for the short side if it's trading in these highs. If the stock is trading in the middle of these ranges, I honestly might not even look at the stock tomorrow. Roblox, very interesting. The stock is absolutely insane. So watching to see if it finally cracks to the downside, or does it begin one of its most parabolic eras that we're probably going to see from this name. So let's watch what happens on Roblox tomorrow pre-market. No levels right now that I'm going to put on my charts or in my notes. ABBV, another name tomorrow pre-market. Nice hold right around the 200-day moving average, and basically levels on either side of those areas. If you can just quickly draw a trend line here. Why does my trend line marker not coming into play? So if you can just draw a nice little trend line there, if you draw a little trend line here, then somewhere around maybe above this area or below this area opens up some trades, but not really a high priority name. Low volume stock with how big of a price it is. There's better names to trade tomorrow. I'm gonna guess at the very least that there's gonna be much better names to trade tomorrow. NCLH, same thing, better names to trade tomorrow, but if the stock is actually starting to stay above this most recent high of 24.50 after the earnings report, possibly some extension to the upside. We've seen recently how stocks like RCL, CCL, when they reported earnings, they shot up to the north side and just blasted off. CCL actually looking very, very good here on the daily chart, if you ask me. So, look how it reported earnings, ripped up to the north side, held above the 52-week high, trading sideways around the 52-week high, earnings VWAP catching up, and basically looking like it's about to break out to the upside for a next run and just go insane. So CCL is looking good. And if NCLH reports well tomorrow, the stock could actually be one that has a sympathy trade along with it. So might even be worth keeping this one, CCL, on the watch as a sympathy trade for NCLH tomorrow. Let me just put that one in here. What is this price point? 28.29. So 29 for the support side. For the upside, you got around 31.50 as a resistance from the most recent high. And in this zone, basically $30 is the key level. This is more so for my swing trade. Watching stock for swing account if NCLH reports well. Might even snag some shares tonight after hours based on how the stock is behaving right here in this area, and put a hard stop below $28. If the stock gets below 28, then I am wrong. I'm wrong on this name and I walk away crying. Woohoo, whatever. But if I'm not wrong, we've seen how the stock can go bonkers. And NCLH, which is a stock in that same basket, which is reporting tomorrow, kind of looking a little bit similar, but not really exactly similar. Okay, so this one's a priority for the day trade, a little bit more priority, but for the swing account, I'm watching CCL more because it's proven its theory already. It reported earnings, ran to the high side, holding above and doing well. MasterCard, another one that's reporting tomorrow pre-market. We already have so many stocks in the $500, $700 range. I'm not sure MasterCard's really going to be on the high priority tier for me. I've never really also traded MasterCard, so I don't think today is going to be the day I do it, or tomorrow, I mean, is going to be the day I do it. So just moving on from that one. BMY, this is another one of those hidden names possibly that comes into play tomorrow. Nice little consolidation here. If we break down, possibly a move to 44, but a low priority name, like no doubt about that. Not a high priority name like some of the purple names that we've talked about already. I've heard about DraftKings making a move up today. Ooh, okay, might be time to look for a long in DraftKings. Very good consolidation, bouncing off the 21-day moving average and breaking out over here today with the market conditions and with the after hours today that we're seeing on the market. Possibly a little bit higher than I would like it to be. So DraftKings potentially worth keeping an eye on. What is that area? 45? Getting above 45 and staying above 45 is going to be important. Staying above 45 is important. So this is more so for the swing account. The next one is FLUT. I'm not sure I'll be interested in FLUT as much as I'm interested in DraftKings, mainly because of the notional price. But if you are interested in any of these names, which is the gambling stock names, FLUT might be the one to go to because, hey, this is the stronger one, right? The stock is now at all-time highs. It's creating a nice coil at all-time highs and potentially a breakout off this coil to the upside. It has okay volume too, but DKNG, lowered price, better volume, better liquidity, possible turnaround story. It's the king of the American gambling, online gambling markets. However, FanDuel, which is FLUT, also has been doing a pretty damn good job at that. A-Lab, monster move on A-Lab. A-Lab just keeps on going. I look like an absolute sucker for losing on this trade on the swing account, and watching the stock go up every single day makes me want to commit seppuku, man. Absolute sadness. Rubric, we kind of talked about that one already. SMCI, impressive reversal on SMCI today, breaking the last 2 days high. However, didn't really manage to close above it, but impressive move on SMCI. I love seeing that one go back up. Palantir a couple days ago had some sort of a negative news that the government's gonna look to get into AI business, basically what Palantir does, and disrupt their business. So not really a good thing over there. However, it's looking pretty good now with the overall market bullish conditions, bullish strength in the market. Not too bad over there. I think you know, Nvidia, Tesla, these stocks are potentially ripping to the upside too, thankfully to the overall Tesla, Microsoft, sorry, overall thanks to Microsoft and Meta. Tesla didn't actually make a move after hours at all. I'm surprised Amazon moved the way it did after hours. So shout out to Amazon. If you are interested in any of these sympathy trades in the large cap, I guess, you know, focus on the ones that actually moved after hours, like Amazon, like Nvidia. Other than that, just stick to the ones that actually have catalyst today, like Microsoft and Meta. I'm sure AMD moved after hours a little bit. Yeah, look at that. AMD up beautifully to the upside too. Imagine buying AMD at $70. What a sucker I am for not doing that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's a nice watch list that we have prepared for tomorrow. Tons of opportunities here talked about, and hopefully you found some levels and opportunities for you to trade yourself. Short Hawaii stocks, HE, both macadamia nuts, Dole. I get the idea. It's that the tsunami, but the tsunami isn't really didn't really hit as hard as people were thinking, right? So I don't know about that trade. HE, no volume spike today after the tsunami, which was actually a good thing. I'm happy that you know, the casualties or the impact of that actually was a lot lower than what people were expecting. NVO $50 might be something to keep an eye on. You know, the fact that the stock just has no buying at the moment for the last few days makes sense. Why it doesn't have buying? It reports earnings in a couple days, expecting the stock to give you some sort of a mean reversion long if it actually able to hold $50 tomorrow. So worth keeping NVO also on the watch list for a mean reversion long. All right, that is the watch list. I don't think I'm going to be adding any more stocks to the watch list besides that. So let's quickly head over to the second segment over here, which is talking about. Wait, that's not what I want. This is what I want. Talking about. Wait, that's not what I want. This is what I want. The IPOs on the day today, or sorry, on tomorrow, which is starting with Figma. $30 to $32 shares offered, blah 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 blah. Year ending, you got growth across the board year over year. So year over year growth for 2024, 48%. That's great. I feel like Tony the Tiger there. Gross profit, selling, general admin, research and development, operating expenses, operating income, net income, free cash flow. What I want to see is if they have a PE ratio. So let's quickly go see that. They don't have a PE ratio. The financial data was sourced from Figma. From Figma S1 and S1As, Figma is currently generating strong gross profits and revenue growth, but is running significant operating losses and negative margins for the TTM. And 2024 is largely due to heavy spending on SG&A and research and development. The company turned a large profit in 2023, but experienced substantial net loss in the TTM. Okay, despite robust revenue growth, free cash flow positive. Summarize all key points. This summarizes all key points. So overall, pretty hyped up IPO. I think it's $1 or $2 oversubscribed than the over range. I wouldn't be surprised if stock opens up around $50, $60 and actually goes insane to the upside. I have seen a lot of people on TikTok talk about how they're going to put all their money into Figma because of how they use Figma for their TikTok creations and thumbnail creations and so on. A lot of people have actually moved away from Adobe and use more Figma and more CapCut and so on. So Adobe has been losing a lot of its market share. In fact, I myself canceled my Adobe subscription, and they gave me Adobe free for three months to hold on to me. And guess what? After 3 months, I'm canceling my subscription anyway. So Adobe is basically dying out these days, and there's companies with better pricing, better AI capabilities that are coming out every single day, right? There's a new competitor for a new AI tool right around the corner, and if you are not able to hold on to your market share with good pricing, with good technology, you're gonna die out. And sadly, Adobe is in that basket. It hurts me to say that because I'm a big Adobe user, but hey, I also like saving money, and I also like using the best tools. So something to keep an eye on. Also, some tips for FIG/Adobe, potentially worth watching Adobe tomorrow as FIG trades. They could sympathy trade together, or you could also see the opposite, whereas one's going higher, the other's actually getting sold off. You're seeing people take money out of Adobe and throw it into Figma, as it is now the new love of the market in the digital creation market. Just some ideas to keep an eye out for. Let's do shoulder innovations and see what we got over here. /ER SEC filings. No. Now do this tab again for SI and see what we get. In the meantime, let's quickly head over to econ calendar for tomorrow. What do we have on the economic calendar? Didn't mean to hit holidays. Go to tomorrow, close that. We had FOMC today, so potentially a little bit lighter tomorrow on the economic calendar. That being said, we still have some hard-hitting numbers coming out, such as jobless claims, PCE, Chicago PMI at 945, Atlanta GDP number at 1130. So still some good numbers out there tomorrow coming out on is tomorrow Wednesday or Thursday? On Thursday, July 31st, the final day of July, ladies and gentlemen. So let's make this money. Let's make all the paper we can. Keep in mind for the important time periods, obviously 8:30, 9:45, and 11 o'clock. Heading over back to this tab, quickly take a look at what we have. 56 employees, healthcare, medical devices industries, Innovations in the commercial stage medical technology company focuses on. Hello, what the fuck happened there? Implant systems or shoulders and arthroplasty, shoulder replacement surgery. Thank you, dude. Aiming to improve outcomes for patients and efficiency for healthcare providers. The company technology ecosystem includes enabling technologies, efficient instrument systems, and specialized support. Market cap, okay. It's pretty small market cap. Net income, EPS. They actually have an EPS, but negative. Sorry, they actually don't have a PE ratio. I thought EPS was PE ratio for a second. I got confused. Negative EPS. No PE ratio, not profitable at the moment. Dividend doesn't have one. Makes sense. Open price, previous close. What? Yeah, like how are you getting this info? I guess pre-IPO indicated. Anyways. I'm not seeing what the main stuff I want to see, so we're gonna head over here. They did grow from 2023 to 2024 by 64%, but currently the growth has been diminished quite a bit. Just another biotech medical company, I guess, so not really as interesting as Figma, but a decent sized company, 100 million, worth keeping an eye on nevertheless. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the stream for tonight. I'm trying to see if I'm forgetting anything. I think last thing would be to give a quick little shout out to all of my affiliate sponsors. If you guys are interested to trade with me and Real Simple Ariel on Discord, click on that link over there. All of my affiliate social media links would be right here. YouTube, Twitter, or x.com, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, where I've actually been posting a lot of my stream shorts, so go check out the links over there, and Patreon if you do want to support me. Along with that, my affiliate sponsor links: Traders Insight, Trade Ideas, Trader Sig, Benzinga Pro, Flash Research. I actually use Traders Insight and Flash Research every single day. Benzinga Pro, I'll be honest, thanks to AI, Benzinga Pro usage has been going down a lot. But that doesn't mean that it's a garbage tool. It's still one of the best tools out there for news. So go check them out. I still do plan to use them for the squawk, even though I have completely abandoned Benzinga from reading their news articles on their page. Shouldn't be saying this out loud. Hopefully they're not watching my streams and taking my partnership away. But look, Benzinga Squawk is still an amazing tool. And besides that, they still have charting, scanners, heat maps. I mean, you name it. It's just an awesome tool overall to start your trading career. Thanks for watching today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the final stream of the week. Until next time, TraderPrad out. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors: Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sig, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.